New York City's towering skyline shimmered under the golden hues of the evening sun. The streets, filled with business executives, luxury cars, and high-end boutiques, barely noticed the figure of a disheveled homeless man sitting on the corner of Fifth Avenue. His name was Daniel Carter. To the world, he was just another forgotten soul, a man with tattered clothes, unkempt hair, and shoes with holes in them. People passed him daily, some with pity, others with disgust. They assumed he was an addict, a failure, someone who had made too many wrong choices. But Daniel wasn't just anyone. A decade ago, he was the co-founder of a multi-billion-dollar tech company, an innovator whose mind was behind some of the most revolutionary software used today. He had everything: money, fame, power. Until it was all stolen from him. The fall from grace. 10 years earlier, Daniel had built a startup with his best friend and business partner, Ethan Reynolds. They were unstoppable, creating an AI-driven security system that caught the attention of the biggest investors. But Ethan, blinded by greed, had betrayed him. Through legal manipulation, forged documents, and powerful connections, Ethan pushed Daniel out of the company. Overnight, Daniel lost everything: his shares, his rights, his money. With no family to turn to, no assets left, and no one willing to take on a legal battle against a corporate giant, Daniel disappeared from the business world. For years, he wandered from city to city, doing odd jobs, trying to survive. But fate had other plans. The unexpected encounter. One evening, while sitting on his usual corner, Daniel overheard a conversation between two sharply dressed executives leaving a cafe. "Ethan is in trouble," one of them muttered. "If the board finds out about the missing funds." Daniel's ears perked up. Missing funds, trouble. A smirk played at the corner of his lips. Karma was finally catching up. The mysterious call. That night, Daniel used the only thing he had left: his knowledge. He walked into a local library, accessed the public computers, and started digging. And what he found was explosive. Ethan had been embezzling millions from his own company, hiding funds offshore. Daniel, despite being off the grid for years, still had contacts. He made a single phone call to an old friend, an investor who had once trusted him. "Tomorrow," Daniel said, "you need to bring me into the board meeting." There was silence on the other end. Then a quiet, "Are you sure about this, Dan?" Daniel's voice was firm. "I built that company. It's time I take back what's mine." The day of reckoning. The next morning, the headquarters of Reynolds Tech was buzzing with tension. The board was assembled, and Ethan sat at the head, exuding confidence. Until the doors swung open. Daniel walked in. Gasps filled the room. Some of the board members recognized him instantly. Ethan's face went pale. "What the hell is this?" Ethan spat. But Daniel wasn't alone. Behind him, walked in two men in FBI jackets. A lawyer placed a thick folder of documents on the table. "Mr. Reynolds," one of the agents said, "you're under investigation for financial fraud and embezzlement. We have evidence linking you to offshore accounts." Ethan's hands trembled. "This is a mistake." Daniel leaned forward, his eyes cold. "No, Ethan. The mistake was thinking you could steal from me and never pay the price." The redemption. Ethan was escorted out in handcuffs. The board, now in chaos, turned to Daniel. An older woman, one of the senior investors, stood up. "Mr. Carter," she said cautiously, "this company was your creation. We were wrong to turn our backs on you." Daniel exhaled slowly. He had spent years on the streets, being treated as if he were nothing. And now, they were looking at him with respect again. "I don't want revenge," Daniel said. "I want my company back. And I want to run it the way it was meant to be run." Silence filled the room. Then, the woman smiled. "Then let's make it happen." The final victory. Within weeks, Daniel was reinstated as CEO. The media went wild with the story of the homeless man who walked into a billion-dollar meeting and took back his empire. And as he sat in his glass-walled office, looking over the New York skyline, he realized he had never truly lost. He had just been waiting for the right moment to rise again. If you enjoyed this story, comment "Karma always wins" below. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories.